thrilled to have Mallory Ortberg.
Hi, this is so exciting. I just wanted to say before I get started, this is the first talk I've ever given. So I was too nervous to eat lunch. But in the green room, they have a big thing of bottles of chocolate milk. And I just chugged 2 of them. So my goal today is not to throw up in front of you. Just in front of you. That's all. But I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited to be doing this with you guys. So I'm gonna, hey, it's up there. Hi, XOXO. The gist of this talk is that I want to be helpful, but I don't know exactly how much you should listen to me, as my experience should not be applied universally. So I guess with that in mind, we're talking a little bit about using the internet to make money, and also maybe a job that you enjoy. Actually, first of all, I hope that you guys are doing okay, because you're probably under a lot of pressure. Pressure to perform. Pressure to always be doing better. Life isn't a continual series of upward trends. I mean, it can't be. That's an absurd expectation. Sometimes you're going to do and be and feel worse than you do and be and are right now. Let's all just kind of take a minute and acknowledge that, to a certain extent, we're all just posturing when we come together in public to discuss our achievements. So don't be too hard on yourself if you're currently being too hard on yourself. And don't pat yourself on the back either if you're super concerned with stacking up accolades. Death is coming for all of us. You can laugh about it, but it's still going to happen to everybody in this room. I guess what I'm trying to say is that you're going to be okay, and then you're going to die, and so am I. Which takes a lot of the pressure off. I don't care if I throw up on you. I mean, on you, like I don't want to throw up on you, but you're still gonna die. So another disclaimer before you start listening to me. When XOXO asked me to speak, I told them that my speaker fee was $750. I was pretty proud of that negotiation tactic. I've never spoken before, if you remember from a minute ago, so that was sort of an imaginary speaker fee. Then I asked 2 friends of mine who are also authors what they charge per speaking engagement, and they said $4,000 and $10,000. So I still think that $750 is a lot of money, but I don't feel so proud now. If someone else is here who got paid more to speak this weekend, please don't tell me, because I already feel bad. It seems like a lot of money for a half-hour talk. I mean, how much do you think I should charge in the future? 151? Oh, 7, you've seen The Price is Right. I see how it's going. Okay, I will, thank you. I bet Anil asked for more. I think transparency is important. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that you do not have to be a fierce negotiator in order to run a successful business. So take heart or feel really good about yourself if you're better at it than I am. Anyhow, back to the internet. So the internet is where we all live. The Toast is specifically where I live. The Toast is my internet. If you want one, you'll have to get your own. We wanted the toast.com, speaking of the .com boom, but somebody already had it, and they wanted $90,000 for it. Like it was 1999 and you could make $1 million just from owning pizza.com. So we bought the-toast.net instead. Is that you? Will you sell it to us? You don't need it. They're not using it for anything. If you go to the toast.com right now, there's not even a picture of toast. And in case you were wording, it is both toast, the breakfast food, and like clinking your glass in a toast. So it's wordplay. So, how to build an internet company, if you are me, keeping in mind that we are not extrapolating my experience to be universal. So step 1, graduate from an evangelical Christian college in suburban Los Angeles in the middle of a recession with a degree in English literature without honors. Good, you did it. Awesome. Find a way to make time pass for most of 2009 and 2010. That's just a mulligan. Freebie. Then, spend most of the time at your first job leaving comments on your favorite blogs instead of working. Okay, the second. You gotta keep going to do it. You can comment more than that, so try waking up at 6 in the morning since all the blogs publish on East Coast time. Wait for commenting to turn into a job. It does, awesome. Spend as much of your time as possible writing anything for any outlet that will have you. At some point, you're going to write a year's worth of Vampire Diaries recaps for free for a Washington, D.C.-based entertainment site that I am pretty sure no longer exists. It will get better. You know what, though? Before we go on, it's weird how on that show, everyone who was a vampire eventually stopped being a vampire, and everyone who wasn't a vampire is a vampire now. I checked in again last year, and the main lady was a vampire, but her boyfriend wasn't one anymore. They switched rings or something. It's not important. You're gonna write more, and you're gonna write better, and you're gonna write for more reputable places. So now you should quit your job. At this point, you're gonna get offered a job at Yelp. I don't know why, but take it and then quit 3 weeks in. Now you're gonna get a job offer from The Atlantic. Awesome. Accept it, then quit. You are still gonna have to pay for the U-Haul that you hired to move all your stuff to Washington, D.C. This is called networking. The time is now ripe to start your own online media property. Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? Okay, so Corey Sika, who I feel bad because now I've told you how to pronounce his name, and he really prides himself on knowing. Is it Quarry Saicha? Anyways, it's Corey. So he's co-founder of The All, and he once said in an interview that starting a website is actually a lot easier than opening up a store or starting a restaurant, and it's cheaper. And I actually can't find that interview anymore, and I'm starting to wonder if he actually said it, but I'm pretty sure that he did, and I took it pretty seriously at the time. Also, Brian Goldberg got $6 million to start a blog about women, and I don't have $6 million. So if anybody wants to give me $6 million, I don't know if Brian's here. Sounds like he's not. But starting a website is kind of not that hard. Maybe. I don't know. I'm still alive. It might get worse. So I don't want to make it sound, I know we've all kind of been talking about how our career paths have been sort of unexpected, and in some ways we've fallen into it, but I don't want to make it sound like, oh, I just stumbled into this job. What happened? Because like a lot of the people you've seen on stage today, we've sort of gone through a combination of how did this happen, and I worked really hard to make this happen. So we started, the three of us, with $200,000 of our own money. So also, if you've never raised any money, me neither. This was all we had, and we couldn't get anyone else to give us any, so you're fine. Probably. We started with $200,000 of our own money, but we only ended up using half of it. I don't remember what we did with the other half. I'm pretty sure that it was Nicole, so she just kept it. But we signed a contract, and she said, I'll give $100,000. And the other partner said, I'll give $100,000. And I said, I'll do $100,000 worth of jokes. So we used a bit less than $200,000. I can't read this. I wrote this too small. Here's some numbers instead of jokes. Oh, yeah, so in case you're curious, like actually what does it take to start a moderately successful website? We spent about $30,000 total for stuff like site building, our stupid domain name, initial startup costs, about $40,000 for initial salaries, and a $1,000 a month freelance budget, because something that we were really committed to was paying our writers. Yeah. You know, I don't know if you guys were here for Spike's talk this morning. How good was that, by the way? Whoa. But pay spike. Don't remind them of your talk during my talk. But we'd heard a lot from people who started sites and said, we really want to pay people, and that's our goal someday. We want to get there. And we knew that if we said that, it might never happen. So we decided to make it a priority from the first day. And even though we didn't have $6 million, we had enough that we could set aside to pay people every time they wrote something for us. And because we always did it, we didn't have to work towards it. It's just always been a part of the site's thing, which is really nice. The takeaway from this message should be that there's room for error and poor planning in internet publishing. Because we just sort of made it up. And also, you don't have to go to a good school or have an impressive job, because I didn't do either of those things. And you can spend a lot of your workday leaving comments online, and it will work out. You will not get fired. So what happened to the money? Good things mostly. We started turning a profit our third month, and have continued doing so ever since. So, tell the people you can pay writers and make some money. It's pretty exciting. We started out paying $100 per piece because we thought that seems like a good round number. $100. Everyone should just get that. That didn't work because none of those pieces were making us $100. So that's why we didn't make a profit right away. So we thought, okay, we won't pay quite that much money. We'll pay $50. And that's what we do now. And sometimes if people write a series for us, we offer them a sliding scale where for every new 1,000 page views, they get more money, which it turns out people really like doing because then when their pieces do well, they make more money. We published on the hour, which was really experimental for us because we felt like you can't start a blog that doesn't publish every 15 minutes and doesn't cover every single part of the pop culture news cycle. But we still underpay ourselves, so that's part of how we saved that money. So the question that we wanted to answer was, is it possible to make a sustainable, profitable site that doesn't have an enormous staff, doesn't publish stories every half hour around the clock, and doesn't bring in 35 million page views a month, because we don't. Is that possible? Yes, but you can, because we did. So we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary. It would have been a little bit early, but our very first day, we had a DDoS attack, and we collapsed. So our real anniversary is the day after we launched. You guys can mess up so much and still turn out okay. And I don't think I'm gonna puke. I'm feeling better. So the second question that we were really curious about was, is there enough of an audience to justify doing what we wanted to do? So we knew we're never going to be in these really big leagues where we're bringing in this massive audience, but are there enough people out there that we can do what we want to do? So this is just a little bit of an overview of what we sort of thought our audience might be. And number one, queer librarians. Hi. Female weightlifters. Yeah. Outdoorsy archivists and stay-at-home medievalists. And it turns out all those people spend a lot of time on the internet. And when they find something they love, they hang out there all the time. So can you start a site with a modest audience, make money, and gradually expand without having to react to every single cultural plot point? Do we have to obsessively react to everything that's going on the internet in order to keep our audience? And luckily the answer is no, which brings me to something that I wanted to show you guys, which is kind of an example of the sort of thing that we do, which is rooted in history, but I think has a lot of practical application for all of us today. And that's a series that we do on the site called Women Listening to Men in Western Art History. I don't know if you've ever spent a lot of time on Wikimedia Commons, but if you do, you'll notice a recurring theme in a lot of Western art is these artists would paint women listening to men strumming their lyre or reading their poetry, and they don't know what boredom looks like. Because they'll paint these women and it's just that's what women's listening faces looks like. And I just want all of you guys to know, whatever gender you are, if a woman's doing that while you're playing the guitar, she doesn't want to hear another song. Like, this guy's one step away from saying, anyhow, here's Wonderwall. That's not a good look. And there's actually a couple more that I wanted to show you just to really drive this point home. This one is called... This one's called Elegy in Amber. And again, the body language here is so clearly like, don't make eye contact with him. Please don't encourage him. He's gonna play another one. Just look at that. Just notice, again, that's not a happy face. That's a sad face. This painting is called Good News. That's not what good news looks like. She doesn't want to see another map. Oh, it's good. It's another dirge. I was worried you'd run out of dirges, but here's another one. And this one is my personal favorite. This one is don't move. He can sense movement. No, that's bears. So just, again, I want you to recognize if you're reading your poetry to someone and they have a look of frozen terror on their face, just take a break. And it turns out that there's a lot of space on the internet for people who want to make stupid jokes about art that's in the public domain. And that's really good news. I wanted to show you guys one other thing that I feel like is kind of representative of finding just a weird space for yourself on the internet, finding an audience that works for you, that you love, that loves you, that gives you good feedback, where you guys can really do something for each other, and where you can make a living without having to be huge. And that's a piece that we like to call, sorry, I murdered everyone, I'm an introvert. Sorry, I murdered everyone at your party. But as an introvert, I prefer one-on-one interactions to group gatherings. I'm really sorry everyone is dead, but I prefer animals to people. Sorry, I killed everyone, I just need my alone time. Sorry that everyone is dead. They weren't respecting my quiet power and inner strength. You know, it's a common misconception that introverts can't lead. We're just not always the first to speak up. Sorry I butchered all your friends in front of you. It's just that I'd rather curl up at home with a good book than go to a party. Some famous introverts include Albert Einstein, Audrey Hepburn, Alfred Hitchcock, and all your friends are dead. I apologize to coming to your house and killing everyone. I'm an INTJ. I realize you didn't expect me to subdue and strangle more than 24 innocent partygoers, but you should never underestimate the power of an introvert. Before they died, a lot of people told me that I was a really good listener. No, I shouldn't have killed them, but at the same time, it's not wrong for me to need space to reflect and recharge before I'm ready to interact with people. I know it's a party foul, and again, I'm really sorry for bathing your house in blood, but sometimes it's just easier for me to express myself in writing than in conversation, so I murdered everyone. That's it. That actually wasn't it. I just saw there's another slide. Sorry, everyone's dead. I guess I'm more Ravenclaw than Gryffindor. Making new friends is really hard for me, so now that everyone you wanted me to talk to tonight is dead, I'm feeling a lot less pressure to perform. Now it's over. That was embarrassing for me, but I'm still not gonna puke. So, okay, but why did I write that for a slide? All right, that's cool. So is it possible to do all of these things and also maintain a commenting community that does not resemble the Springfield tire fire? Simpsons, TV show, I don't know. Sure is. Part of the benefit of being small and sleek, like a racing yacht, Can you race yachts? Thank you. Wow. How many of you guys have yachts? I should definitely have asked for more money. Yeah, and one of the things that's really cool about being small and sleek like a yacht is that we have the freedom and the manageability that we're able to moderate ourselves. So we have a really joyful place on the internet where people come together and create. And there's certainly room for debate and criticism, but not like, you're a triple Hitler, you're double triple Hitler, which I find usually peters out after a couple of double Hitlers. So we have this really wonderful internal accountability. It's a real community, which is a lot of fun for us. This timer has said 0 for a really long time, so I have no idea if I'm going long. Being vulnerable is really nice. We're all just doing our best, and we'll all be dead in 70 years, so it doesn't matter. So, another question, but like, what good ever comes out of a commenting system, really? Well, one good thing, I wrote a book out of it. This is a picture of my book, and I wrote it, and it's fun. And I was really excited about it, and it actually only exists because of comments. It's an example of modest and achievable success. So this book sprang entirely from a comment left on a post written by my business partner. She wrote about Gone with the Wind, and somebody said, I gotta thank that Keith guy. But he just said, yeah, it's all the same. It's like we all have phones. And that's where I wrote the very first entry of Text from Jane Eyre, which is just guess what kind of corset I'm wearing. I don't see what this has to do with I'm not. And it's kind of fun that I can point to this and say that's exactly where my book got started. It came from the comments. Comments aren't always just triple Hitlers. Really, Mallory? An entire book based upon the conceit that it'd be funny if people in the past had phones? Well, that's a gross mischaracterization of the book. It's way more character-driven than that, and frankly, you're being mean. You're being really negative right now. Oh, they all came up at once. Cool, what have we learned? You can make a living publishing online without being enormous and bringing in millions and millions of people a day. You can write a book that sells well enough to be a success without making so much money that you can retire. Because let me tell you right now, I wrote a successful book and I did not make enough money to retire. You can ask me how much later, I'll tell you, I don't mind. You can have a good time on the internet, maybe. You can quit your job without taking a wild leap of faith. You can start a website without trying to raise $6 million. Brian, if you're here, I just want half, man. Bustle's doing fine. You've got, he's not here. He's not here. Now it says 326. Thanks. So I guess that what I'm trying to say is there's room for you. And there's room for taking risks that aren't completely outrageous and out of nowhere. There's ways to start things without having to get millions of dollars. There's ways to start something without having to find millions and millions of people. And you can race yachts. I don't have anything else to say, so I'm going to stop talking. Thanks, guys.
Mallory Ortberg, thank you so much.